When you're first getting into eBay, shipping can seem very daunting and terrifying and overly complicated, especially if you're used to sites like Poshmark or Mercari where everything is simplified. There's a lot of options in eBay, I'm not going to lie, but eventually you'll appreciate how many options there are. In the beginning, though, I think it's helpful to have a paradigm that helps you decide how to ship and isn't overly complicated, and that's what I'm going to present in this video today. First, I'm going to assume that you're charging shipping on everything. Free shipping is a whole different kettle of fish, and you can look into that once you understand the basics of charging shipping. The way I like to think of it is that there are things under a pound and there are things over a pound. And there are different ways to deal with each of these two categories. For now, I'm just going to talk about shipping from the US to the US, and we'll do a different video later about international shipping. Anyway, when you're starting out, you might not want to do international shipping, like don't even offer it until you understand the basics of domestic shipping. So in this video, we're going to just talk about the under a pound category. I sell a ton of stuff that's under a pound, like anything paper, jewelry, small collectibles, even like, cosmetics and stuff in my other store. And there are more things than you would think that fall into this under a pound category. So everything that weighs under a pound, we're going to send first class. Let me repeat that, even though that's so annoying, but this is the key. Everything under a pound, we're going to send first class. The way first class works is that there are breakpoints where the rate goes up depending on how much it weighs under a pound in ounces. And the distance it's traveling also matters, but eBay calculates that for you and you don't really have to worry about it. So don't worry about it. Weigh your under a pound item and you get the weight in ounces. When you're starting out, you'll also want to weigh whatever packaging you're going to use to ship it and make sure it's still under a pound. Eventually you'll get the hang of how much things weigh and how much your packaging weighs, and you won't have to pre-weigh things at all. I mean, I honestly just guess on almost everything and it's almost always accurate. I mean, sometimes it isn't, but almost always. You can get a postal scale for under $10, and the one that I use is great, and I have it linked below, but get any one you want. You can buy them online easily or an office supply store. And if you don't have one yet and you're rearing to go, you can use a kitchen scale. That's fine, as long as you can weigh things in ounces or in some form like grams that you can convert to ounces using a handy internet calculator. Once you have the weight, you choose calculated first class shipping as your shipping option. And you put in the weight in ounces. You don't have to put in the dimensions. You can, but it really doesn't matter at this point. When somebody purchases your item, eBay will show them the price to ship to their zip code based on the weight that you've put in. That's calculated shipping. When you go to actually ship the item, you'll notice that eBay gives you a discount off of the price that it charges to the buyer. So you have a little wiggle room to pay for your packaging and any miscalculations you may have made in that direction. And also you might make a little profit on shipping. First class by weight calculated is almost always how you will ship everything that weighs under a pound domestically. There are a few scenarios I can think of where you might choose another method for an item under a pound, and these are not common, but here they are. So one is if you want to send an item using just a postage stamp. This is called letter rate. You can send something with a single forever stamp that is under 1 ounce. So this is quite light. Something like a postcard or a baseball card in an envelope can qualify, but it's really meant, honestly, for letters. So think of the weight of a traditional old-fashioned letter. There's a lot of pros and cons to doing this. It is not an officially condoned eBay shipping method, and they have no way to facilitate actually shipping with a stamp, though I did a whole video on how you can ship with a stamp, which I'll link above, and that's how you do it. When you're first starting out, I would not recommend shipping with just a stamp unless you have a whole well thought out strategic business reason to do so. Just don't do it for now. It just complicates your life, so don't do it yet until you're ready. The next scenario when you might not use first class shipping for something that weighs under a pound is if your item is hazardous or hazmat. The US Post Office has a whole list of items that fall under this category, which you can look up on the US Postal Explorer site if you're super curious. The main things to be aware of are flammable items and items under pressure, and things that contain alcohol or other corrosive or toxic substances. So here we're talking nail polish, lighters, any kind of like hairspray or fixative that's under pressure, paint thinner, certain art supplies, that kind of stuff. Technically, you are not supposed to send those first class because first class goes air by default. And you're supposed to send them economy rate ground, which does not go air. So you can choose economy rate on eBay the same way you would choose first class. It's also a calculated shipping rate. It's usually more expensive than first class, which is counterintuitive because it's called economy, but it's because the economy of scale of sending things air is now to the point where sending things ground is more expensive. So send things that are hazmat economy rate. It's not dissimilar from first class, and hopefully this won't be coming up all the time for you anyway. And the only other reason you might ship something that is under a pound, not first class, is if it's a very expensive item. You might want to send it with more insurance or with signature confirmation or other protective services. And you would do that by sending it priority, or even sending it with one of the private carriers, UPS or FedEx, or various other ways. If you are mailing an expensive item that is under a pound, you should do some research on what kind of insurance is appropriate and feels like the right thing for your item. Sorry, while I was editing, I realized there is another reason you might want to send something that is under a pound, not first class, and that is media mail. Media mail is for books, records, videotapes, CDs, DVDs, things that are media but do not contain advertising and are not blank. And the media mail rate is cheaper than the first class rate, and it is also determined by weight. It is also available by eBay shipping in a normal way. So if you are shipping a book or some other media item that weighs less than a pound, choose media mail. In this world of simplified eBay shipping that we're living in this video, let's just say if it weighs under a pound, it goes first class calculated. And the buyer pays based on the weight and their zip code, and that's it. So stay tuned for more shipping videos about items that weigh more than a pound and international shipping. I hope that this was helpful. Let me know in the comments and give it a thumbs up. Thank you and take care.